I'm not trying to take away anyone's guns. If you want a gun, that's fine, that's cool.
Yeah.
But what do you need an AR-15 for? What do you need military-grade weapons for? Who are you protecting yourself
They don't use the AR-15 in the military. But you're saying like semi-auto rifles?
Exactly. Like, what do you need? Like, that's what we're trying to explain. Like, what do you need those type of guns for?
Should police be the only ones with those weapons?
Honestly, I don't even think that the police need to have guns.
Look at Detroit. They have some of the strictest gun laws, but they have the most gun crimes. They don't work. They don't work. People get guns illegally. People own guns illegally. There's unregistered firearms. There's ghost firearms. They don't work.
There will never be middle ground when it comes to guns and gun control advocates. Welcome to another installment of Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. Like channel, like content, what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything is appreciated. Once again, Connecticut residents, the new training addendum is going to kick in basically Monday. So please make sure you cover yourself, be vigilant in going through your process and your training. If you have your permit, watch the expiration date. Don't let it expire. There's a link to the online renewal portal for the state of Connecticut for permits in the description box. Keep an eye on that. Let's talk about this. Now, I came across, once again, another fascinating article. And this article is being written in light of the United States versus Rami ruling by the Supreme Court, which is an 8-1 ruling, and it concerned whether or not somebody who is accused, not convicted, accused of domestic violence should have their Second Amendment rights taken from them. And that Clarence Thomas was the one dissenter. And now, beyond the fact that Rami's behavior is not in question here. That's not what this case is about. This case is about the fact that his rights were taken away without a conviction. That's what this case really centered on. And unfortunately, once again, it comes down to an emotional thing. 8 of the Supreme Court members said, yes, it's legitimately okay for somebody who's accused, not convicted, of domestic violence for their firearms or their rights to be taken until they go through the process with the court. But this person wrote an article basically coming off of that ruling, stating that this is another reason why there's no common ground between gun advocates and anti-gun advocates or gun control advocates. Because, it's going to be an all or nothing situation on both sides, all or nothing. As much as the gun control crowd likes to gaslight a lot, and they tell you that we support the Second Amendment, we believe that persons should be allowed to own firearms, but we need common sense. It's all a smokescreen for what they really want, and some of them have been bold enough to basically say it.
This message is for everyone, but especially white women.
We're being called to show up in Denver on June 5th with an executive order demanding that Governor Polis ban guns and buy them back.
You heard that right. Ban guns and buy them back. We're starting with Denver because Colorado has high levels of school shootings, and the governor is a Democrat.
Basically, they just want complete disarmament. Every single firearm in every single home in America to be taken away. They've pretty much, some of them would be brave enough to actually tell the truth. A lot of them just to throw up smoke screens saying, no, this is about community safety. But I'm going to bring you into here. And I want to thank Bearing Arms. And this is an article, but Tom Knighton is the person who wrote this. But why there would never be common grounds on guns? Okay, and we'll come right down to here. From time to time, someone will talk about how there's all this common ground on gun control. They'll cite polling data that they've accumulated 30 minutes after people learn about a mass shooting, then never corrected once people calmed down. They'll claim people really want to find a middle of the road solution to things. But the truth of the matter is there's no common ground on the issue. There are only those who favor gun control and those who don't, which is bad enough, of course, because those who want gun control vote. Yet it gets worse when you realize that they don't view people like you and me as wrong. They view us as evil. And of course, he's talking about pro-gun people. We know this because of the reaction to Clarence Thomas and his dissent in the Ramey case. And this is a Twitter feed, but thank goodness. Also, Clarence Thomas is truly evil. That's how one progressive pollster responded Friday to the U.S. Supreme Court's 8-1 ruling, United States versus Ramey, which upheld a law prohibiting individuals subject to a domestic violence restraining order from possessing a firearm. Critics across the political spectrum called Thomas' lone dissent in the case insane and blasted the right-wing justice as effing awful and corrupt lunatic and a contemptible POS, which continues to undermine the safety of women and disgrace the court. Amid expressions of relief that the court's other members joined Roberts' majority opinion, with several others writing concurring opinions, Moms Demand Action founder Shannon Watts, these are the people who said that Goebbels was, a brilliant guy, said that the Rahimi case should never have been taken up by SCOTUS. To even question whether domestic abusers should have access to guns shows just how extreme this court has become. Fred Gutenberg, whose 14-year-old daughter Jamie was murdered in the 2018 Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, Florida, which is irrelevant to this case because this guy did not have a restraining order. As a matter of fact, there were more than enough signs that the FBI ignored, that I don't need to get back into details of that, said that he was glad to see the Supreme Court got it right in Rahimi compared to the 2022 ruling New York State versus Pistol Association versus Bruin. How did they get it wrong in Bruin? New York State had a draconian process to get a permit, which once again, this guy's just running on emotion, not the facts of the matter. But quote, this case only existed because the horrible Bruin ruling, a decision written by Justice Thomas, was the lone dissent here, Gutenberg noted. I am hoping that he cleaned up some of the Bruin issues with this case. The Thomas dissent is only further proof that he is simply a threat to America because he's not catering to him. That's how leftists think. If they're not getting their way, then it's a threat to America. No, it's just a threat because they didn't get what they wanted. Now, let's remember that the issue in the Ramey case wasn't really about Rahimi himself. His actions leading to the restraining order are detestable, to say the least. The problem was that Rahimi hadn't been convicted of anything at that point, and a lot of innocent people get disarmed in the same manner, red flag laws. That's the heart of the Rahimi case when it went before the court. But rather than just disagree with Thomas and his view, they're attacking who is, as a person. They also brought up the whole Anita Hill situation and the demands for his recusal from certain cases because his wife has political opinions as well. Just remember, these are the same white liberals who ran to social media to call Thomas the N-word because he basically went against, I'm trying to remember the name of the case, but leftists hated his ruling and they literally came out and called him racial slurs because of it. But I'm going to come down to here. Let's say hypothetically that we sat down at a table to discuss this middle ground on gun control they hope to find. Even if we were open to giving a little in order to get a little, there wouldn't be anywhere they'd be willing to go. Every debate, every discussion would involve a compromise of them taking just a little bit less than they wanted, and only for a moment. That's basically the Overton window, which I've discussed in past videos. They come back the next year wanting the rest, and they wouldn't blink at blasting you for your refusal to compromise to find middle ground. And that's how the anti-gun crowd works. They propose a whole mess of gun control initiatives, some of it so extreme that even people who now technically would vote for them would say, hey, you're going too far. Then they would say, okay, we'll take that out, but we're going to keep this. They'll get that, and then the next year they'll go after the stuff that they didn't get. Connecticut is a perfect example of how that works. They'll ask for a whole bunch of stuff, say, okay, we'll compromise, we'll only ask for this. Then the next year or the next time they will try to get the rest of what they asked for at the first time. That's why there's no compromise with these groups. I've spoken in videos about this before. There is no compromise with anti-gun groups because there is no middle ground for them. Slowly but surely, we have watched them over time erode the Second Amendment piece by piece by piece. And every time the highest court rules that what you're doing is unconstitutional, they say that the Supreme Court is a threat to democracy, a threat to safety, a threat to communities, a threat to women, a threat to whomever. they can throw in there as a victim class to basically get what they want. I say it once, I say it twice, and I'll say it again. There is no compromise when it comes to this issue. And it's unfortunate that there is a all or nothing issue, because every time there's a shooting, what do you hear? We need gun control. Well, gun control only affects those who follow the law. Those who would not do these kind of evil acts are the only ones affected by gun control, while the criminals continue to run around the streets doing whatever they want. And when they are caught, we have a justice system that says, well, you know, equity. We need equity in our justice system. It's criminal. It's unjustifiable to hold people accountable for what they do. And they get a slap on the wrist and get sent right back out there to do exactly the same thing over and over again. How many times have you seen somebody who commits a crime, especially a shooting, and then when you hear the rap sheet, you're sitting there going, why is this person out in the first place? But they then demand gun control, which only applies to those who will follow the law, those who will not do these things. That's why I personally cannot compromise with these anti-gun advocates in any way, shape, or form. When they ask for one thing, they come back the next year and ask for another thing, and come back next year and ask for more. And they never stop. It's that old saying, you know, never give a mouse a cookie, because then it will want a glass of milk. That's exactly the whole forte to the anti-gun movement. They keep asking for more and more and more and more every year. So I found this article interesting. I'll leave this in the description box so you can read the whole thing. There's not much left. I pretty much covered a lot of it, but you can read it for yourself. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comments below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.